Kalimera, kalispera, galinichta, no matter where in this wild, wacky, and often wonderful world you might be. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. It's a new week. It's a blank canvas. Let's tell some stories, shall we? Let's rock and roll. We've got some great guests lined up for you on this fine Monday madness. Here we go, kids. Here we go. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Monday Madness. In the house, my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Squaddies, good to see ya. Hope you're ready. At ease, squaddies. At ease.
At ease indeed. Hello to all the usual suspects in the house. Our Chief Like Officer, Tammy, is here to keep her eye on the ball. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, as I said. Kev, I'm growing out the hair, right? So going to be less hats maybe this season. I'm going to try it. Going to go back old school style a little bit. All right, grow it out. I'm not going to put one of those striker bands in it, though. I'm not going to do that. So hence, getting ready for the big trip tomorrow to Cyprus. Going to go see my mum and dad.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
Bless them and bless you. Have a safe trip.
Thank you, Kev. And bless the Arsenal community, who are a little bit upset after the weekend. Season hasn't quite gotten off to a firecracker of a start. But you and I said, Kev, just 3 weeks ago, we'd rather finish strong and have some hiccups along the way, as long as, the points don't get too far apart. What do you have on the docket for us this evening for Super Kev's kickoff?
Well, my kickoff is people's opinions are fine. Everyone can have an opinion, no problem whatsoever. Considering the first 3 games, we've got 7 points. I think there's a little bit of panic in the Arsenal fan base. And there shouldn't be. There shouldn't be panic. At the end of the day, look, we gave away an early goal again at home. Silly goal. It's just bad play. It's just bad play. Misplaced pass by Saka, which went straight to them. I'm hearing people saying, "Oh, it's Partey's fault." How is it Partey's fault? It's a bad pass. So again, anything to have a goal at the system that we play. But okay, we concede 1 goal. Sophie, one thing I will say, we created enough chances to win that game comfortably. Had to make adjustments. Yeah, and are we playing as well as we can? No, of course we're not. No one is saying that. I'm definitely not saying that. We are not playing as well as we can. Yet we still created chances especially in that first half. Created chances in the second half. Anyway, we get level, and then Eddie comes up, Soph, who was on the bench. Many people said Eddie should be in the team. Eddie makes a difference and scores, makes it 2-1. They're down to 10 men, and we can't get over the line with 10 men. At the end of the day, that's got nothing to do with system, Soph. And anybody who reckons that's got something to do with system must be from another planet, because we're 2-1 up, a corner comes in, and they score from a corner where we should have cleared it first. So, again, I would be happy if the fan base were talking about, we're upset about the goals we're conceding at home. Not, the system we're playing ain't working. That don't make sense. To me, that don't make sense. How can you say the system we're playing ain't making sense? We go a goal down in the first minute, and then we come back, we're winning 2-1 against 10 men, and then concede again. We conceded a silly goal against Forest, although it was a good break for Forest, bad goal for us to concede. We concede 2 against Fulham at home. Where is all the people saying, we've got to defend better? No, all we hear about is, it don't work with Partey at right back. But yet, we're on 7 points. We've won 2, and we should have won that game. We got a point from it.
I guess it's because of the 10 men, Kevin. It felt more like a loss than a draw in the end.
But that's my whole point. It should be, we've got to stop conceding goals at home. Because if we don't concede goals at home, so we win the game when they're down to 10 men.
Well, if we don't concede anywhere, you can win the game. And if you take your chances, you can win the game.
No, but my point is, let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
The game was, after being 1-0 down, we were 2-1 up. They are down to 10 men, and we concede again. That's got nothing to do with the system, Sophie. That's just straight up defending.
Okay. Well, let me bring in our first Monday Madness guest to join us. You guys love a little bit of Seager, don't you? And he's got his new book out, Double Double to Invincible, illustrated by, of course, the amazing poorly drawn Arsenal, who we love. Dave's book will be out I believe it's out now. You can order it. Listen, it's pinned to the top of our YouTube comments. Okay. So please find it there. And here he is, Mr. Dave Seager. Welcome back to Squad Central.
Thanks for having me.
What did you make of what Kev said, Mr. Super Dave?
I totally agree. The scapegoating is ridiculous after 3 games. I mean, Havertz wasn't even on the pitch when we conceded the goal that meant we drew the game. Had he been, with his height, we may not have conceded that goal. No, and I think the Partey at right back, it's just. I mean, if he hadn't been on the pitch against Palace, we probably would have drawn that game. He was absolutely outstanding in that last 25 minutes when we were down to 10 men. Literally, he was everywhere. So yeah, I'm not. It's not what I want to see. It's not a lineup I particularly think I would pick. But I'm not the manager, and certainly the lineup has got nothing to do with us conceding stupid goals. I completely agree with Kev.
So let me ask you guys this question, because look, it's 3 games. We're into our 3rd game. We're going to play Manchester United. This is a game this time last season. I was at Old Trafford. It was a horrible loss, but it felt like, how did we lose that game? And I felt like at the time, guys, that Mikel Arteta learned a lot from that lesson at United. He made some naive substitutions. He made a lot of substitutions at the same time at Old Trafford last season. Kev, do you think there's a sense that he will learn something from Fulham and will go on a bit of a run the same way with Manchester United? Because I think the issue fans have, right back, fine. Thomas Partey has played well there. He did it in the last couple of games of last season. It's got nothing to do with Kai Havertz, everybody. Please. He's played there for Atletico Madrid as well. But Gabriel alongside Saliba. Now, of course, they can't play together if Partey's going to play right back, or can they? That's the biggest issue, I think, that's bugging people. Why have you taken our best defender last season? You said it yourself as well here on this show, Super Kev. Why have you taken our best defender out of the team?
I just think I mentioned it last week. It's about ball domination. Against the teams who you're going to dominate the ball against, I think this is the opportunity for Mikel Arteta to play Partey and help Declan Rice in that midfield, because we're going to dominate the ball. I really believe that. And is there enough defensive cover there as far as the manager's concerned? I think he believes with Saliba, Ben White, etc. at the back, I think he believes there's enough there. Now, remember, it's a squad game. Will Gabriel come back against Manchester United? He probably will. as far as I'm concerned. The manager's already said Gabriel is going to play a lot of games this season. But he's got to be able to manage the squad how he sees fit. And people saying he got it wrong, he done this, he done that. No, the team, I keep saying it, when the team cross that white line, they've got to do the things right. And Arsenal haven't been defending properly at home all last season, let's be honest. And now it's crept into this season. So that's something we've got to get right, so.
Yeah, it's definitely poor. Dave, what do you say to fans who say he's only playing Thomas Partey on the right because Zinchenko isn't playing, and when you lose Timber, who was going to be his Zinchenko, a hybrid player, if you like, that can play multiple positions, that's why he's utilising Partey at right back. What do you? What is that? Is that what's happening? So for example,
I just think, go on.
No, go on, carry on.
No, I just think what it is. Obviously, we had the first game in Timber, and that's different. And that's that we have not got that situation. Zinchenko has now proved his match fitness. He wants to play with one inverted fullback. He couldn't play with Zinchenko. Tommy Yasu wasn't going to do that job, so he's using Partey in that role. And also, I think with the Gabriel thing, it comes into the same equation, because I think when Gabriel's on the left and Zinchenko's there, there's no pressure on Gabriel. I think Kevin might have been alluding to this. He's not a ball-playing centre-back. He's the only one of our centre-backs who isn't a ball-playing centre-back. But when Zinchenko's there, it doesn't matter, because it's just a case of, I will win the ball and I'll give it simple to Zinchenko. And I think because Zinchenko hasn't been playing, that's why he doesn't want Gabriel to be the far left of the back four, if you like. So I think now that Zinchenko's available and probably our only option, I think Zinchenko will come in at Old Trafford. And because Zinchenko's playing, I think Gabriel will play with Saliba, and I think Ben White will come back to right back. And that's another point that is affecting our fluency and our goal creation. Saka doesn't need Ben White. Saka loves playing with Ben White, and it gives the defender. The defender doesn't know what Saka's going to do at the best of times, because now he can go left and right. But it's even more difficult when there's an overlapping, Ben White romping down alongside him, because it gives Saka another option and makes the defence even more undecided about what Saka's going to do. So I think we've lost in two areas by having to play, Partey on the right. I don't think that's a long-term plan. I really don't. So I think with Zinchenko available, I think we'll revert to the norm this weekend. The then question is, does Partey play where Rice has been playing, and Rice play where Havertz has been playing? That's the big question for me. I think the other things at the back will sort themselves out. But I do think Kev's right in that certain games that he expects to dominate, he wants ball-playing centre-backs, and Gabriel may not play in those games, perhaps.
So let's talk about Kai Havertz. Gosh, I didn't think that we'd be having these conversations so early in the season. He's more polarising than Willian, I think, Super Kev. And I didn't think that could happen either.
He isn't. It's the fan base is. The fan base are making him polarizing.
Well, because, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Let's have it right. Has he ripped up any trees? No, but he hasn't stunk the place out either. So this is the whole issue. You win your first two games, and there's still problems. I don't know what they expect. He's still understanding. He's still trying to understand the Arsenal system. He's still trying to understand it. And you know what? People say, but he cost 65 million. It doesn't matter what you cost. You still got to settle down. You've still got to settle in. It may take him 10 games. It may take him half a season. We don't know. But let's be honest, Arsenal as an attacking force are nowhere near where we should be right now. And I think that's because probably Jesus hasn't been there, because Jesus is one who makes everybody better.
So Dave, do you think we should hold judgment on? I mean, I did a show last week with Tom Canton defending Kai Havertz actually and his start to the season. Do you think fans should reserve judgment until Havertz plays in a team with Zinchenko and Jesus?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think also in the first two games, whilst he didn't, threaten goal in anything, but his actual stats for the team, aerial duels 1, tackles 1, interceptions were pretty damn good. They were Xhaka level. What we didn't see was the creative side of him, which will come. But the other point is, and I've seen a lot of people mention this on social media, he was in good positions a lot. Yeah, the fact that we're not finding a player who's 6'4" in the box is not really the player who's getting in that. Kev will tell you, he's scored enough headed goals in his career. If you're getting in the position to get the cross and it's not coming, that's hardly Havertz's fault. And I think it's just because he's a new player and he's come from Chelsea. I mean, for me, I think Martinelli stunk the place out on Saturday, and Havertz is getting all stick. Why? Because Martinelli's been here 4 years and he's a fan favourite and he doesn't often have a bad game. But he was very, very poor at the weekend. So no one's going to have a go at Martinelli, are they?
I agree. I totally agree with you on that. And I actually found Martinelli to be exceptionally frustrating on Saturday. He kind of reverted back to trying too hard, wanting to be the hero, seeing the frustrations. Wasn't looking up enough, wasn't passing the ball quickly enough, hogging it too much, going across the byline too often, Kev. And one of the things that has been a bit of a conversation among the Arsenal universe is when the players have been used to a certain way, and of course they're professionals, they'll play whichever way their manager tells them. Some of my friends who were at the stadium felt like there was a little bit of a lack of, I don't know, cohesion, maybe even confusion. It looks like a little bit of a mother's meeting here. Do you think the players aren't playing this way? Didn't look like Thomas Partey really enjoyed that game much against Fulham on Saturday.
Well, you enjoy when you're winning.
Or Sunday.
That's one thing I do know. You enjoy when you're winning. When you go a goal down within a couple of minutes, or whatever, that's it makes life difficult. Look, we're not cooking as a team. We haven't cooked as a team cohesively all season. There's been fits and starts, but as a team, as an attacking force, we haven't clicked yet. But that's not to say that's not going to come. And sometimes you could see, it's just not working out. Things are just going the wrong side or whatever. But we seem to be getting the job done, which we take. I said it. We had a discussion.
Well, we didn't get the job done against Fulham, Kev. We didn't.
No,
we didn't.
So, Sophie, we've already talked about that. But my point is.
Well, you said we got the job done. We didn't. So I just wanted to correct you.
No, we did get the job done. We went a goal down.
No, we
got ourselves
Kev.
In front. But as I've just said before, we keep conceding silly goals at home. So if we concede silly goals at home, yeah, that isn't getting the job done. But at the other end, attacking-wise is what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Attacking-wise, we got the job done. We got our noses in front. We expect that to be enough. But it's not. Why? Because we can't defend at home. That's my biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
But also, when you're shooting straight at their goalkeeper all the time for fun, it's not helpful either. The attacking players weren't putting the ball in the net. That's equally a problem at the moment. And as Kevin says, when Jesus is back, everything will change. But there's thing is, we're playing against three on paper weaker sides at the start of the season. Everyone has been crying out for Arteta to build a squad and rotate the squad. As soon as he starts adding to the squad and rotating it, everyone wants us to revert to the starting 11 that played every single game last season.
Not necessarily, Dave.
No,
I don't.
Yes, you've only got to read social media, Sophie. That's exactly what's happening.
No, sensible. I'm talking about sensible Arsenal fans like me. I like to consider myself a sensible Arsenal fan. Okay, sometimes. For example, and I put my hands up. I've been so critical of Eddie Nketiah, but even on this show, Kevin and I have said when he comes in and he does a job for Jesus, you start him. Longer term, he's not the answer. So he had 16 out of his last 16 starts. He had 14 goals, right? I know fans want to see Trossard, and Trossard was great in pre-season. But when Eddie is the goal scorer at the Emirates, why do you start Trossard in a game against Fulham? Why do you do that?
But why not?
No,
why
but no. Answer my question, Kevin, please.
Yeah,
why?
I am. Why not?
Because Eddie's the hot hand who's playing.
Hold on. It's a squad to rotate, isn't it?
After in the second game of the season, Kev.
No, third. Is the squad to be rotated? Yes or no, Soph?
Yes, of course.
Right. So don't complain when Eddie's on the bench. Eddie comes off the bench and gets us out of problem. That's what he's there for.
It's getting more like rugby with the amount of substitutions you can make. You have players who are starters and you have players who are finishers. In rugby, you have the players that come off the bench and finish the game. Now, I don't agree with Kev because I don't think Eddie, if you look at Eddie's stats, he is far better when he starts. But on Saturday, he did come off and he was sensational. He's been sensational every time he played. I'm a massive Eddie fan. I would, if I was going to start Trossard, interestingly enough, I noticed this. We're trying some new tactics as well, which is another criticism is that, toward the end of last season, everyone sussed Arsenal out. You have to play a different way sometimes. And he's going back to that sort of overloading the right, leaving Martinelli right on the touchline and then switching play. Some great balls across the pitch from White and from Partey to Martinelli. Interesting. I want Kevin's view on this. Martinelli's first touch, people look at it and think, he's pulled it out of the air sensationally. He's always pulling it out of the air on his right foot. So he's not taking it to his left and pushing it forward. He's not gaining the advantage of the switch of play because he doesn't use his left enough for me. Whereas if that was the Saka, he would use whichever foot was appropriate to bring it under and move forward. Martinelli, I felt, he brings it out of the air, but he's always then back to goal. He has to turn and he's always coming inside rather than going outside. I think that's a problem. I mean, 2 years ago, it was Saka's problem. Everyone knew he was going to cut inside. Now he can go both ways. I think Martinelli is probably a year behind Saka in his development. What do you think, Kev?
I think on the switch ball, it's not that his touch is with the right foot, it's where he puts his touch. Because when the ball's coming over, if you put your touch there, all of a sudden you're 1v1, you've got the defender. But if your touch is here,
you've
got to kind of come round, then the defender gets in position, and then you tend to be playing more inside, which I understand. But, Martinelli didn't have a great game. We know he can be a devastating player, and that's why they try and isolate him 1v1. But his touch has to be more forward.
Don't you want him sometimes to go outside? Beat his man on the outside and get to the
that's
ball.
what I'm saying. If his touch is right, if his touch is forward, then he can go either way against the fullback. Because the fullback's going to be there. So when his ball's coming, if he takes his touch there, he can go outside, he can go inside. But when his touch is here, the fullback's going to really come tight and block off the opportunity to turn and go outside.
I'm saying even when he gets the ball to feet early and starts running, he'll run until he's facing a defender and then he'll cut inside. I'm not only talking about when he takes the crossfield pass. He did it once in the whole 90 minutes on Saturday. He tried to beat his fullback on the outside. And if I can see that, then every defender in the league can see that.
Well, maybe he's not. He weren't comfortable going outside.
That's my question. I don't know.
But
he's a super.
But maybe
he's a super talented player.
Because if he's comfortable, he tries it more. So, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just the way the game pans out.
I guess my point on the rotation, just to round off on that, I appreciate the kind of detailed tactical question too, Dave. Yes, rotate, Kev, but there's rotation and then there's rotation for necessity. There's tactical rotation, there's injuries, there's all sorts of things that come into it. I think for this Arsenal team, I understand what he's trying to do. Right. But when you've got some games, easy games, and a couple are at home, go in, grab the points because it's going to be a long ass season. We don't know what's coming down the road. So let's just say this continues. And actually, he really wants to play Thomas Partey at right back. He really wants to kind of maybe have what's happening on the Zinchenko side of the pitch. He definitely wants it happening and he wants it all happening in the same game. Is that even a possibility for you guys to be or is that crazy?
What do you mean by that?
I'm saying like Rob plays. I'm saying Zinchenko. Yes.
Right back.
Yes.
I can't see that because I think he likes it one side.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to, for my understanding, I just wanted to again clarify if it's a temporary thing or if you guys think it's a long-term thing.
I know. I just think because he didn't have Zinchenko, getting that inverted player on the pitch is important, which is what Thomas Partey was doing.
Yeah, it feels like the Timber injury has instigated all of this because, like, who was it who just said Arsenal Algeria? None of this was happening in the preseason. Thomas Partey wasn't playing right back in preseason. He joined late anyway.
Didn't need to. Timber could do it.
Right.
And the thing is, Timber could do it both sides. So you didn't need anybody to change.
So to me, Kivior was one of the worst players on the pitch at the weekend. If people think this guy's going to come in and change our fortunes, God forbid if Zinchenko is injured, forget. These are the players you have said when they come in, like for like, we're downgraded. You go from an A to a C. Do you guys think we need to go into the
Why was he
transfer
one of the
market?
worst?
Oh, it was terrible.
No, why? I'm just asking why.
I just thought he lost the ball too often. He didn't have the vision. He slowed things down. Just think he looked like a bit of a donkey, actually, to be honest. Looked like a donkey signing kind of player on Saturday for me.
Can't say I saw that.
I didn't see it, but hey, it's a game of opinions, Soph.
Yeah.
It's a game of opinions. I didn't think Kivior had a bad game myself.
Are you telling me, like, in a game of, I just find it, don't insult my this is the thing, right? I've backed the manager massively, over the last couple season and a half for sure. Don't insult my intelligence. Don't tell me
who don't insult your intelligence?
The manager. Don't insult my intelligence as a fan, right? Because don't tell me Kivior is better than Gabriel.
No, he's not. He's not signed to be better than Gabriel. He's signed because he's better than Pablo Mari. We don't know.
That's not hard. That's not hard.
He's our cover left-footed centre-back. Last season, we didn't have one. We've now got a cover left-footed centre-back.
Timber and Zinchenko would be the primaries, right? And Kivior, to me, seems like he's a Tomiyasu. He's going to be a floater. He's never going to start a game, but he's going to be involved when need be, obviously, when there's injuries and stuff like that.
I can't see Timber ever starting at left centre-back. Kivior is definitely cover for left centre-back and cover for left when we play a conventional left-back.
Yeah, Timber will be right centre-back, left-back or right-back.
Don't you think we need, having lost Timber, who clearly was going to be a game-changing type of player, don't you think with Zinchenko being injury-prone, with Kivior maybe being a bit of a donkey, don't you think that we should go into the transfer market and resolve this before the window shuts, Super Kev?
No. Kivior's fine, as far as I'm concerned. Kivior's fine.
Dave?
Kivior's fine. We've got Tomiyasu, we've got Zinchenko, we've got Tomiyasu and Kivior who could cover at left back.
So. Yeah, I mean, I think if we manage to offload the players we want to offload this week, we will go into the transfer market on deadline day or the day before. But there's one or two positions, to maybe three. He's going to have to make a decision. I mean, he hasn't really sorted out who's left eight yet. He doesn't seem to want Smith Rowe for whatever reason. I thought he would have been a sensational player to bring on. Vieira did very well.
Why isn't Smith Rowe getting a chance? Dave?
I just do not understand it. Everything. 2 years ago, him and Martinelli were sort of juggling that left side, and Martinelli was kept out of the team for until Smith Rowe was injured by Smith Rowe. I know they're different sort of players, but I thought he would be an alternative option for Martinelli. Obviously, Trossard's now that player. Trossard's ahead of him. Even Reece Nelson was ahead of him. I have no idea. There's rumours that he may be available on loan, but this week.
Yeah,
I will be devastated personally. I've got a real soft spot for Smith Rowe. But as for buying a defender, I think one thing I don't really want. I'm not throwing this in this. As this is an option we should be looking at. But let's not bear in mind. Let's not forget. Declan Rice is probably better than most of our centre backs at centre back. So if we need another centre back, we've got Jorginho, we've got Partey, we've got El Neni who can play six. We can play Declan Rice if we need another centre back. I'm not saying we don't want to get to that point, but he has cover centre back is probably better than the ones we've got. In that role. So we do have that option in real crisis, like we used to with Gilberto used to drop in at the back four, or the young lad who Song used to drop into the back four if we needed it. It won't happen, but I'm not worried. I'm not as worried as you are, Sophie. No.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm not.
The player to rest for the player gives Saka a break is probably more urgent.
Yeah, and also I feel that Mikel's got a bit of the Pep Guardiola chip, but he hasn't achieved what Guardiola has. He hasn't. I get it. You there is this side of him that is like, I'm a tactical genius, and I like it. You have to have an arrogant manager. There's arrogance, and then there's cockiness, and I just don't want it to border on, stupid Pep Guardiola decisions in Champions League semi-finals that City probably could have won 3 Champions League leagues by now if it wasn't for Pep's tinkering, Super Kev. That's what concerns me, is that when you do have these injuries and you do have a lot of stuff going on and you just want to keep pace at the beginning with some of these games, why tinker too much? Why not just play it simple? Like that Ben White, bring Tomiyasu in at left, play.
He couldn't. Tomiyasu's suspended.
Not Tomiyasu, sorry, suspended. Yeah, I get it. He's suspended. But why not just play Benjamin White at right back and play Gabriel in defence?
I think he will on
because
Sunday.
He didn't have Zinny fully fit at left back.
Yeah. Wow. So Zinchenko then is the most important Arsenal player.
Sophie, Sophie, you're asking the question.
Timber and Zinchenko were not.
You're asking the question. You said, why doesn't he play Ben White at right back and Gabriel at centre back? Because Zinchenko isn't left back, because he wants that extra body in midfield.
I get that. So what I'm saying to you then is that Zinchenko then by that statement is probably our most important player then.
No, he wouldn't have even been in the team if Timber was fit. Timber was fit. Zinchenko would have been in the team.
Not. You asked, why isn't Ben White playing right back?
Yeah.
Saliba and Gabriel.
Right.
Is because Zinchenko isn't playing. That's why they're not playing that way, because Arsenal want to overload the midfield.
That's what I'm saying. So is Zinchenko our most important player?
Can I finish? You've asked about Ben White. He's not playing there because he wants somebody to invert. He doesn't have somebody who can invert on the left, hence why Thomas Partey plays on the right.
Well, Tierney couldn't even play that role, could he?
No, he couldn't.
According to Arteta.
He's not even at the club, so let's not even discuss it. He's not there. He can't do it. He's tried it. He couldn't do it.
Yeah. Let's see. So why do you think you're harsh? We didn't see out a game against 10 men. We can't defend. Yeah, it's poor. And the 3 goals and that we've given away in the first minute. I mean, I'm trying to understand. You guys know a lot more about tactics than I do. Okay. I am not a tactical genius at all. So I'm trying to understand if you are going to those extremes to have that system and set up. To me, it feels like Zinchenko has become our most important player. That's all I'm saying.
Only because Timber's out. I don't think Zinchenko would have been a starter. You saw the first game, the way that Timber played that left back role, even though he's not left footed. He would have stayed in the team.
We don't know. For the same reasons I don't know about the others, you guys don't know that Timber would have been the one one starting. So
if that's not the case, why is the whole fan base saying it's a game changer that he's injured after one game? I think everyone knew from pre-season and that first game that he was going to be a starter. He didn't come to be a rotational player, Timber.
Right. Okay, let's talk. Dave, do you ever? I did tell you I was only going to keep you half an hour, but do you want to say? Because we haven't even touched on the book yet. Do you want to just hang out for a little bit and even when, just a little bit more, 5 more minutes? You good? Yeah. Okay. Because I want to get your guys' take on as I think Arteta did maybe make some unnecessary too many changes. I do believe that his substitutions were fantastic, and this is where you show a little bit of credibility. I'm not trying to kill the manager, guys, because his subs were great. Fabio Vieira, another player who many of us have felt has underdelivered in the chances that he's been given, came on and was absolutely a stud. Martin Odegaard handed over the captain's armband to Eddie Nketiah. Eddie comes on, absolute stud. Real quick, Super Kev, it's one game. I know a lot of folks are already getting excited about Fabio Vieira. Heck, even his stats for assists are impressing fans. Kev, it's one game and everyone's acting like he's better than Odegaard and he should be the starter now. But talk to me about the impact that he had when he came on against Fulham.
Well, we know the impact Eddie had, but I think Vieira's a confidence player. Let's be honest. We saw him back in the last season and people were saying, we should sell him. We should, loan him out and all sorts. But just like anything, when you get a little bit of confidence going, pre-season, he scored the winning penalty against Manchester City, which was important for him. He got a bit of momentum behind himself. And now we're starting to see he wants the ball. He's happy to take risks, which is the type of player we believe he can be. And one thing he's got wonderful vision. He's got wonderful left foot and wonderful vision. I mean, that ball for Eddie, you watch that goal again. Eddie sticks his hand up and he just puts it on a sixpence for him. So, and he nearly won it at the end with a save from Leno right at the end. But again, it's confidence, Sophie. This boy is very confident at the moment, and probably that's why Smith Rowe isn't getting a chance.
Dave, you may have a differing opinion or the same, because of course I know, and you've just told everyone how much you love Smith Rowe. But
yeah, I wasn't a fan of Vieira last season. I do accept he's probably a confidence player. My issue is I cannot see Arsenal in a way having Vieira and Odegaard in the team at the same time. So I do think he's always going to be a rotational player for Odegaard. The only other question is, could he be an option to play, when we want to rest Saka on the right? We tried it last season, didn't look strong enough, but he does look a bit stronger this season. Maybe he's been on the weights a bit. I'm very much jury still out with me, but no question his vision, no question. I mean, he's whipped ball, sensational, but the question mark is around how easily he's pushed off the ball and how strong he is in a physical game, like against Man United, for example. I wouldn't fancy him at all, but I'm happy to be proved wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the jury's still out. He came on and he did his job. He changed the game together, with Eddie, and that's exactly why Mikel brought him on. We lost Super Kev there for a second. Dave, before we let you go, we do want you to tell us about the book real quick before we bring our next guest in. It's a bit of a sequel, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I did the first one in 2018, which was called Arsenal's Double Double, which told the story of the 98 and 2002 seasons, FA Cup and League doubles, which basically the whole thing is cat in the hat style. So the whole thing rhymes from start to finish, which is fun, but every single goal, every single assist, every single bit of action was included. And this is exactly the same. The only difference is I've decided, for the sake of fact, it's the 20th anniversary of the Invincibles, I haven't looked at any other games other than the 38 league games. So it just literally is every game. There's a little bit with the Community Shield. There's a pre-season which looks at how much Man United were spending and buying, and we were buying no one other than Lehman, and all the fans were in a panic. Sounds a bit like now, to be honest. And how we're going to rotate because we haven't got anyone apart from Keown. Oh, there's Colo Touré. But so what it does is it just builds the season. But the nice thing this time is it starts on the premise. The last one finished was that in September 2002, when Wenger said, I see no reason why this team can't go a whole season without losing a game. And the whole world of football laughed at him. The media were in at him non-stop. And of course, the following year, we did fail. But, the season after, when we hadn't strengthened, people were still laughing, and we built the picture. So every month, the chapters get slightly longer each month, because we're not only looking at the games and what happened, but we're looking at what were the media saying? Where were the challenges? The new Chelsea petrol money was in. Were they going to challenge us? Their challenge was there. Man United were challengers. Their challenge fell away. So it builds the picture. And every month you're looking at where we are in relation to our rivals and are we going to do it? And then obviously, having won the league with 4 games to go, it's then a case of, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? So it's nice. It's fun, but everything's included. There's nothing not there. The club have read it. They've passed it. There's no swear words, so you can read it to your kids. And of course, you've got the brilliant illustrations by poorly drawn Arsenal to accompany the words. So, and all the illustrations are actual action shots, but obviously turned into his images in his superb style. And brilliant. Of course, when I did the first book with him, he was relatively new on the scene. Now he's massive, which is good for me, obviously. But he's very, very popular young man.
The collaboration is brilliant, and I mean, it's just so much fun, and I love that it could be for kids as well, and it's a great gift. Believe it or not, kids, we're going to start Christmas shopping soon. Double to Invincible. Dave Seager, illustrated by Poorly Drawn Arsenal, who I know a lot of you love as well. Please go get it. It is pinned, the link, at the top of the comments page on YouTube. We'll also put it in the descriptions, and we'll share it when we share the show, of course, after we go off air. Dave, is there anything else you'd like the squaddies to know before you go about the book or about the Arsenal?
The book's available now on pre-order, but actually it's on its way back from the printers. So if you buy it now, you're going to get it very soon. It will be signed by me. Alternatively, you can wait till it's in the Arsenal shop, or there will be events in and around London in October, and of course one in New York on the 7th of October. So all for the American listeners, if you live anywhere in New York, Paulie, Joe and Arsenal, myself and other guests will be there for a big event.
Well, we're definitely gonna let everyone know about that and those things before, and you'll come on again before all that happens. Super Kev.
Top man Dave, as always.
See you soon, guys.
Brilliant speaking to you. Hopefully I'll
Thanks
see you at the
me.
Emirates for the Man United game.
I'll be there.
Take care.
You, mate.
Cheers, Dave. Cheers. Brilliant stuff from Dave Seager. Arsenal author, does some really great stuff. Why did I get rid of Kev as well? No way. You've been a badass. That's why today. Badass. Nah, not really. Let's welcome our next guest in this fine Monday Madness, one of our favorite fellas. He's going to put the world right now talking about gaffers. Mr. Paul Buckle, former Luton Town manager, back at Squad Central. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, gang. Great to be back on.
How are you, Paul? You all right, mate?
I'm good. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. Thanks.
See, you were playing some golf. You were playing some golf.
Yeah, it was down in Palm Springs.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
sorry, mate.
I took you up there. They had a hurricane, so there weren't many holes open.
All right.
How you doing? How have you found the Premier League so far this season, Paul? Is it going to be a roller coaster? What would you make of it so far?
Well, yeah, after yesterday's games, absolutely. Should I say the weekend's games? Obviously with Arsenal, as everyone's talking about, and then Newcastle not being able to hold on to the lead against 10 men, which seems to happen a lot. They always say it's harder to play against 10 men, but it shouldn't be, should it? Not with that level of player anyway. But no, I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tight. But yeah, Liverpool. I think that's a big one for Liverpool. I think they need. I've not seen Klopp like that in a long time. I used to see him on the side animated all the time, and I think Eddie's assistant helped it, didn't he, Jason? With the one there. But yeah, Klopp punching his chest. And I think that's what you want to see. That they mean business. Obviously, Arsenal, I hope they're going to be right there. Man City, without question. And then hopefully Brentford will be somewhere.
I love that.
Yeah.
Paul, one of the main reasons when I reached out to you, I wanted to kind of tap into you and your mind as the gaffer. And we do that a lot with Super Kev on the player side. And he always talks about that after training, once you cross those white lines, it's the players. And I've talked to you both about this on a previous show together. Paul, what I wanted to know is, take us into the Arteta situation. Clearly last season we lacked depth. We relied heavily on 11 players. We've created more depth and have a bigger squad for him to work with. As a manager, how does that work? You go from the season he had to this new season with a bigger squad. Then he has injuries. He's playing Thomas Partey right back. He's not playing Gabriel. He's starting Trossard when Eddie's like, talk me through that a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's not good. And Kevin would certainly know that. At the start, during the season, sometimes as things are thrown at you, you have to change. If you look at, say, like Ben White, doing very well going from the centre to right back, Kate, that worked. It is rare that it can work, and making so many changes so early on is a worry, and I'm sure it's a worry for Mikel Arteta as well. But the players, I think the players want to play in their rightful positions. I would have thought. I always did. When I managed players, what I learned was body language. They want to play in their positions. Accommodating is dangerous. I'm not saying he's doing that, but accommodating players or trying to be too attacking, you can lose the balance and the confidence of the players. So with it coming so quickly after pre-season, that would be a concern, because normally you've ironed out all those areas. And with Arsenal doing so well last season, I didn't think there'd be too much to change, if I'm honest. So that I thought that was going to be a plus. But yeah, it is dangerous when you start playing players out of position. But because they're trying to hit the ground running and they're trying to get some form, and also relationships over the pitch as well are important. So the last time I sort of remember this was when Pep first took over at City. I went up to a game. I think I was playing Celtic in the Champions League, and he was playing players out of position, and nobody quite understood what was going on. It wasn't really working, but that next season he did obviously get it right, and I hope that Mikel can get it right.
Does Mikel, will he get the same grace though, Paul, to get it right? And Pep is a perennial winning manager who is going to go down in history as one of the greatest ever. Do you think there's a bit of arrogance here from Mikel Arteta?
I don't think there is. I think he's a really attacking coach, and after working with Pep, I'm sure he's picked up the majority of the tactics that Pep would have put in place while he was able to see a lot, obviously, working so closely with him. I think sometimes you can get stuck in your ways. You can get too attacking, and sometimes trying to get your best 11 on the pitch, no matter where you play them. But there is trade-offs to it, and it is dangerous. I think he's an attacking coach, which I love to see. I wish some of us, English, or say British coaches would be that way sometimes as well. I put myself in that category. And I think he would have learned a lot over the last week. He would have learned a lot from that. And really and truthfully, maybe he's tried the players in these positions, give it a go. It hasn't worked. And he'll get back to a balanced team and let players just fight it out in their positions. Again, would know if Kev's starting a game and he's got a top striker sitting there, there's nothing better for a manager, because Kev's going to know if probably on 60 minutes he hasn't done it, or 65, then he's going to make the change. And if that player comes on and does well, you could be struggling for your place next game. Interesting.
So can we stop mentioning every time we speak about manager? They're going to talk about Pep. This is the square peg round holes thing is an obsession for me. So I'm going to bring it up. So get used to it, please. Super Kev, I asked you and Dave earlier in the show about uncomfortability of players, and Paul just mentioned that players might be feeling unfamiliar. Does a manager
might be said might? Yeah.
I mean,
that don't mean they are.
I mean, it kind of looked.
Mean they are.
They didn't play great, In what's the difference between the Palace game and this game, Kev?
Defensively, we shut Palace out. We didn't give anything stupid away. We've said it before, Soph. I don't mind the start of the season not playing well. You hit the ground running. The key is to win points, to get 3 points. We don't need to be playing great right now. We need to be playing great when it really matters.
Mm-hmm.
But winning games is the key. And if defensively you're giving goals away, you don't deserve to win. We didn't deserve to beat Fulham, even though we put ourselves in a winning position. Why? Because we couldn't defend. That is our Achilles heel. That really is.
Can't defend at home. Can't score goals. This is a problem.
We score goals.
Okay, it's a little bit like
we score goals, but if you score goals and you can't defend, you're not going to win.
But that's the in-game management as well, Kev, though, isn't it? The in-game management of the head coach and the players being aligned when you're up, when you're winning, 11 men or 10 men, what you got to do to see it out. And
but Paul, let's be honest. Fulham are down to 10 men in a corner from their right. You've got to just stick your head on it. There's no management of that. You've got to win the ball and get it out your box. It's that simple. The bottom line is maybe they're not hard enough mentally yet. Because you know what? I've played in teams. We've seen Arsenal teams. As soon as they go up, Arsenal winning the game.
Yeah, that's my very point, Kev, is like, is it being worked on? I don't know. I'm just asking a question because there's probably nothing more boring to put on for a group of players than scenario work. All right, I know I sort of read that Arsene Wenger did a lot against 10. Okay, being a man up, being a man down. And unless you've really worked on it, you are leaving it to chance. I mean, a set play is always an opportunity for the opposition anyway. You know that. But I think it is a mentality thing where you say no, don't you? All the best teams, doesn't matter what division they're in, they're ahead, you know, and there's a corner. You get, you know, touch tight or in your zone, whatever it is, and you see it out. You see it out. You get rugged and you see it out. But I'm not so sure with Arsenal and with Newcastle. And again, I'm speculating whether there was a clear plan to go and get the next goal, whether that's on the counter attack, whether you change the block, whatever you do, there needs to be a clear plan. Or maybe there is a bit there that it's going to be okay, but it's not in the Premier League, and it just looked that way in both games. That there was a real shock on the faces when that happened, because you know that you're a professional. That's why you're getting, you know, angry about it, and I would be too. I've been on the side before. It drives you mad, but you can take comfort if you've worked on it. You know, whether you're going to keep the ball, and I think as well, you do have to keep an eye on the opposition bench and coach what he's trying to do, Kev. I don't know if Fulham did anything different or Liverpool or changed the system, but that's in-game management as well for the manager. And, you know, Mikel's maybe not have had as many air miles as some of the others yet.
But Paul, here's one thing I will say. It don't matter what you do on the training ground. It doesn't matter. You've probably worked with lads on the training ground. You throw corners in and they've headed balls out, 100 balls out. On the Saturday, the corner comes in and the opposition score. And you think, we've done it all week. The key is you've got the players on the pitch have to be able to do it. What I have found is this. Anytime we go up at home, maybe if we're 1-0 down or we go up 2-1 or we go two goals up and the opposition score, we then all of a sudden take a step back. Why? And that's not the manager. I can tell you that much. I see the manager. I've been there. I've been pit side. I see the manager trying to get the players up. But it is something inside the players that goes, we're comfortable or we're safe. And you know as well as I do, Paul, going back towards your own goal, you are not safe.
No, I'm completely agreeing with you. I mean, I suppose I'm seeing it from both as a player and as a manager, where as a player, if you're on the field, you just want the ref to blow the whistle. You know, when you're up, it's a big game.
Yeah.
You do, but you do have to have professionalism to see it out. And sometimes as a manager, I can only take the comfort, worked on it and really thought it to be important. And I think the top teams are going to come up against 10 men, aren't they? Because, you know, there's going to be desperate challenges in the game, I would imagine. You know, a lot of the middle and lower teams will be doubling up in their defensive third, and the way we are now with yellows and reds. So I think it's something if he's offering lip service to it on the side, absolutely. I mean, you're there seeing it, but you've got to work on it. You have to work on it, and you have to do set plays till you're blue in the face. Because I tell you what, if you're playing against Arsenal this year, it's probably the only way you're going to score, or against the City or the top teams. So you have to work even harder at knowing, you know, where you're probably going to be exploited. And when you've got so much of the ball, Kev, as you know, right, and you play, as Arsenal are, and then all of a sudden you've got to transition into that mindset that you certainly had as a player and Arsenal had in that era, which was nasty, right? It's nasty when the ball's coming in, and you've still got to put your head in there, and you've got to really show a discipline to stay with your runner. First phase, second phase now that we understand in coaching. That takes a mentality attached to the training of it, for sure.
So if I can just jump in here real quick, because I find that fascinating that against Palace, we defended, okay, at times it was, you know, suspect, but we defended like warriors, I felt. I was like, we were physical, we were confident. And Kevin and I, Paul, talked about at no point in that game did we fear that Palace were going to score. It just, it had that written all over it. So how, and take me into the mind of the player and the manager here, how do we go from that kind of a performance to then playing against a Fulham at home. They've got 10 men and play more like lambs rather than wolves. Is that in-between stuff, Paul, that you're talking about midweek training?
It can be a lot of things. I mean, look, we don't know. I'd love to know. I'll
tell you, Paul.
Go on.
It's the home comfort.
Okay. I mean, Kev,
comfort's at the Emirates. Comfort.
Right. Okay. Well, that's.
I will be all right.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
You've still got to do the nasty bits right. You've got to do the tough bits right. And if you get kicked in the head, that's what you got to get to win the game. Sometimes I think the 3 points, I know the team want the 3 points, but you've got to want to die out there for those 3 points. Is that important?
And
we're soft.
Yeah, I totally agree, Kev, with you. I mean, look, you guys are really close to it. In answer to the question, I do think it's a bit of both. I think obviously recruitment. If I talk for 1 second about Conference and League Two, right, even League One, Championship, even Kev, right, you have to be a certain type of player. You have certain type of players in your team if you want to get promoted. When I've been promoted, I've 100% had certain types of player, and we didn't concede from set plays as a rule, because you've got those players in there, like the Arsenals of years back, that just took it upon themselves, right? It was in their DNA to say, get with your man. And I think that can frighten a few players around you in a team game, that you're not going to let them down, let alone the manager and the fans. I was as surprised as you, because when Arsenal went ahead, the camera went across to the fans, and it was a really aggressive celebration from the fans. And I thought, they're thinking, here we go, we've got a real chance.
Yeah.
Floodgates are open.
We got this. Yeah.
Yeah. Got this. And I think the players, they obviously didn't, build on that, build on that momentum, go hunting the ball. And I think when it's like that, the one message I would be saying is go after them. Don't let them breathe, because then that you take that into the ball. So you'd be worried about getting a bit soft. You'd be worried about complacency. It's the biggest thing when you're on the side, right? You see, but sometimes you just don't get a chance to change it. It just happens. And you're like, sometimes you're sitting there, all right, and I use you as an example, Kev, you're in the middle and you've let a runner go, right, and we just got away with it. I've got a decision to make. I'm either screaming at you or I'm saying, listen, I can't afford to have that. I'm going to put a more defensive player on, and his job's just going to be to stay with someone now that's gambling forward. So I think there's a lot going on for them. The managers at the top level, getting your message on must be horrendous. Trying to get your message on the field, which I've only had when I've been in some finals, when there's been a lot of people in the stadium. That's hard. You are dependent then on the group for sure. So it's a fascinating conversation, and I'm what we would know, the feeling after is horrendous, and will take a few days to get over, for sure. But yeah,
we have to bounce back, Paul, because we've got a massive game against Manchester United coming up. Let's just say, Tommy's going to be, he's still got one more suspension, right? Zinchenko back, Jesus back,
I think he's half fit, so I don't think Jesus will start.
No. So what would you do? Now you're the manager, you're Mikel Arteta, you performed valiantly against Palace, weak at home against Fulham, who really are weaker than they were last year, Paul. You got Manchester United next. What are you doing?
Well, it'll be reflecting on both of the games, in the decisions that he's made, the teams he's picked. A lot will come as well with how he sees Man United, with and without the ball. I don't think Arsenal need to change too much. I think it is getting back to people in the rightful positions. It is about getting a balance in the team, and sometimes that means leaving a player out that you've brought in for millions. If he's got to wait on the bench, he's got to wait. And who's training well that week? I'm assuming we'll come into it at that level as well. Who's recovered, from that disappointment. I don't think a knee-jerk reaction. I just think getting back and looking at how well for many, many weeks and months Arsenal did last year, Sophie would be a great place to start. Why? More importantly, why? And get that toughness back in the 18-yard box. All the things you're going to need to win a title. Everything you're going to need to win that title. You're going to need everything, aren't you?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Paul, what do you do with a player like Kai Havertz? You're the manager of Arsenal. You asked for Kai Havertz. You wanted Kai Havertz. It's not like, he's getting blamed for everything, which is wrong. And we here vehemently are against that. I mean, Saka had a stinker. Of course, Saka's the golden boy and he'll get away with it, but that was his fault. But then it's Aaron Ramsdale's fault because of Aaron Ramsdale's positioning. Whereas that's where Arteta wants Aaron Ramsdale at the start of that game and generally. This avalanche effect. What do you do with Kai Havertz, Paul?
I think you establish where you're going to play him. You make sure that he's comfortable. But I mean, play him in his rightful position, I think, would be key. If there's someone playing better than him, then so be it. I mean, you can't accommodate. Accommodating players is the worst thing you can do. I've done it before. You have to learn very quickly. The players don't thank you for that. The fans don't. And again,
do you think Mikel's accommodating Havertz at this point?
It seems that way. I don't know. Again, I'm just speculating, and I have done it. I mean, you sometimes look at your best 11 and want to get them all on the pitch. And again, going back to how attacking he is. But as Kevin said, there's the other side to the game, isn't there? It's without the ball as well. And it's set plays and it's all those things. And you need enough players on there to balance out any situation in the game. And I think when you've got that many good players, it's not easy leaving them out. It's just not easy having them conversations, leaving any player out, let alone a top one you've brought in. But if he has to leave him out for the balance of the team and fight for your position, then I don't think that's such a bad thing. I think that's what he should do.
Super Kev, I just put up the comment from a listener. I mean, Pep, who he models himself on, Jack Grealish, 100 million, did not see much first team football, did he? Came on as a sub a lot in that first season. With Arteta being as ruthless as he is, what's your take on his vision for Kai? Ultimately, where do you think he really wants him to play, Super Kev?
I think he wants to play in the position he's in. I really do. Attacking left-hand side midfield. But again, it's going to be a squad thing. I don't think Mikel Arteta will think twice about dropping Kai Havertz. I don't. I just think he wants him to understand how the team play right now. And off the ball, Paul, funny enough, Kai Havertz is very good. Tracking back in defensively in the box. He's a big lad. But our problem is we're not playing offensively as well as we can do. And unfortunately, Kai Havertz is taking a bit of stick for it. But it's not all down to Kai Havertz. That's for sure. It's not Kai Havertz's fault that we're not playing well as an attacking force properly. So I totally understand that. I think Mikel Arteta will, because Zinchenko's back, I think he will revert more to a team that we know more like the game against Man City in the Community Shield.
I would hope so, against Manchester United especially. That's for sure. Because you know what they did? They found a way to come back from 2-0 down to beat Forest and not be embarrassed at home. I mean, they found a way to win.
Come on, Soph.
What?
With the referee with that penalty. I mean, come on. Jeez.
I mean, it's happening to everyone, Kev. There's going to be a season of excuses.
They found a way because of the help from the referee. I mean, that's
but they still won. They still had to score the pen.
So I know. I'm just saying, when you get help from a referee like that.
What's Arsenal's? It is questioning, Kev. What's Arsenal's best midfield? If you're the manager, what are you playing in there? You playing double pivot, single pivot, 2 8s or 2 10s, whatever you want to call it?
You
depends on the
one.
opposition. It depends on the opposition. It really does depend on the opposition.
All right.
Against Manchester United, I'll play the top line.
Okay.
I'd play the top line, definitely the top line against Manchester United.
Well, what about you, Paul? What do you think?
Yeah,
or your follow-on question for Kev from that.
Like just a single pivot and the two for sure in front.
Yeah, but Declan Rice could play a bit further, can't he? Forward.
Yeah, Rice can just cover. I think Rice getting on the ball from the back four, he can cover that for sure. And he's good at protecting. He's very clever at protecting the back four without the ball. And let the other two go on, bomb on a bit more. And as you said, Havertz is responsible without the ball, which is always a good thing if you can get ticking them boxes as well. But yeah, I'd like to see just Rice just playing in there on his own with two in front.
Have you been impressed with Rice so far, Paul? I know you're a fan anyway, but have you been impressed?
I haven't seen the games from start to finish, to be honest. But I mean, look, he's here take some time to probably find his best football after playing in, one team and understanding his role and responsibility. I think that's a big thing. Once you get into the team, any team, and you know your role and responsibility, and you really start to perform, and you know what it looks like before going into the game, and you really start affecting games like he did for West Ham. We want to see that in an Arsenal shirt, and I think we will for sure. I think he's all, the players and the managers come out and said, what an influence he's been on the rest of the group, and I think he's only going to get better and better.
Okay, Paul, I'm going to get you out on this as well. Because curiously, conversations come up with assistants. And I have a bit of a theory. And again, it's just my own opinion. To me, it seems like a manager, especially if they're strong-headed like a Klopp, a Conte, Arteta, they make a decision. And generally, you don't veer away from your decision despite what your assistants may say in certain situations. Steve Round was one of a few guys in Arteta's inner circle over, when he became manager of the Arsenal. Do you read anything into what's happening at the start of this season with losing Steve Round? Can you talk to us real quick before you go about that influence, your own personal experience, how much you take from those assistants? Is that an issue?
Well, first of all, great staff are hard to find. I think they're really hard to find. I think getting that balance again with when you want your assistant to interact and when you don't. You see a lot of managers stand on the side, don't you, gathering their thoughts, making their decisions. But then also, if you look at Eddie and Jason, that's a pretty unique dynamic inside. A lot of people have questioned that, but Eddie's track record's pretty good, and Jason would have played a part in that. And it's a chemistry thing, Sophie. It's definitely a chemistry. And the assistant's job is a really difficult one. Because sometimes, as well, as we've seen with Mikel, they want to go on and be a manager as well, right? So you've just got to know when to come in and when not to go in and really know the manager. I went in last year with the women's team down here, with San Diego Wave, with Casey Stoney, and I was assistant with her. And she's very intense, Casey. She's really focusing on the games. And you've got to be, it's a fine line, because if you see something, you want to say it, because you don't just want to sit there and not say it. And then sometimes you feel like you're breaking a concentration level, but it is a vital role. And the other one you'll see is Pep go and sit down. How many times you see that? Pep Guardiola, he'll go and sit down and there'll be two of them leant over, feeding him stuff. So if you get the right staff around you, with management ability, I think it really helps. I don't know what's gone on at the Arsenal with that one, but it is a vital part.
All right. Brilliant stuff from Paul Buckle, who is not on social media. A lot of you have been sending me messages. No, he's not. He's not on social media. Well, he is actually. He's on Instagram if you want to follow him on Instagram, but he might not let you follow him on Instagram. He's not going to give you tactical, answer your tactical questions on Twitter. That's for sure. Paul, brilliant stuff from you. You're going to be coming back and joining us at least once a month this season, are you not? Are we allowed to break that breaking news?
Without a doubt.
Brilliant.
But I love seeing Kevin, especially getting so animated. I love it. I love it. I miss that bit. Get in there, Kevin. Get them touch tight on them corners, mate.
Get nasty, man. Get nasty.
Exactly, yeah.
That's because, as you know, Paul, that's the trenches.
Yeah.
You know, like a scrum and that is in a line out is in rugby. Corners and set pieces are the trenches in football, and that's where you got to be tough, tight, and aggressive to keep that ball out of your net. And Arsenal just don't have it at the moment. They need it.
Well, Paul will be back. Paul, real quick as well, I lied again. Luton Town, first game at Kenilworth Road, you and Super Kev. This is why I think Luton are going to survive in the Premier League, because no one's going to want to play at Kenilworth Road. You were the manager there. I mean, it's the only route to survival for them, isn't it? Getting points at Kenilworth Road this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can make it a fortress without a doubt. I mean, Kev's played there. I played there, managed there. The two games to stick out for me when I was there was in the playoffs against Wrexham, and it was absolutely deafening. I mean, I thought the roof was going to come off when we scored, and then against Wolves in the FA Cup when we won, it was phenomenal, the noise and how close the fans are. And going to be on top of their game, because for once, they're going to be the underdogs. And for many years, Luton have not been the underdog. So the pressure's been on. So hopefully the pressure being off will really help Rob and the guys.
Cool. And do Arsenal beat Man United this weekend?
Absolutely.
We love that. Brilliant stuff, Mr. Paul Buckle. Thank you for joining Squad Central, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks a lot. Cheers,
Paul. See you, mate.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers.
Good stuff there from Paul Buckle, former manager of Luton Town. Great stuff, Super Kev. Always love having Paul on. He's got some great insights.
Good insight.
Yeah,
Been
brilliant.
both sides of the touchline, hasn't he? So
yes.
Yeah.
Kev, what haven't we discussed this evening that you would like to point out, say?
Transfers. So transfer at last week of the transfer window, isn't it? We need people out. And are we going to bring one or two in, Soph?
Kev, what is this? I'm thinking it's just a rumour started by someone. Emil Smith Rowe, Chelsea. That's never going to happen in a million years. Not on our watch.
Not in a month for Sundays.
Right. Gabriel to Saudi Arabia.
Not in a month for Sundays.
Okay. Who's left? That Pepe's still not gone?
Pepe's still not gone. Tavares still ain't gone.
Tavares still not there.
Lokonga. Cedric still ain't gone. Lokonga still ain't gone. So there's a little bit of work to be done, so
yes,
to clear up some of the backlog.
Now, Kev, when we think about these players, barring maybe one, they're not really contributing to the team, are they? Cedric doesn't contribute. Lokonga's not contributing. Tavares isn't contributing. They're all training away. Yeah. Holding is the only one maybe that would still have some type of involvement if there's 500 injuries and he's the only player left to play. Am I being mean today?
No, I just think it's time for Rob Holding now, isn't it?
Yes,
the squad's improved
exactly
to a point where, thanks. You've had a great Arsenal career for you, but it's time for you to go.
Yeah, definitely. Wish him well. Wish him really well. So more outgoings than... Is there going to be a last-minute shocker, Kev? A last-minute...
I would love a nice, big surprise, Soph.
What kind of surprise would you like, Super Kev?
A surprise attacking surprise. I would like a nice attacking surprise. I would. I really would.
You wouldn't want... You really think that we're okay with the Timber? You wouldn't go after another Timber?
Listen, another defender. Do we need one? No, not necessarily, because again, you look at Tomiyasu, he can cover. So I think we've got enough defenders. Another one won't hurt, but that's just another body in the longer run, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, Sophie, to be honest, Soph, I don't know.
I'd rather sell Havertz to Chelsea.
I'll be honest with you, Soph, I don't know.
Do you have a name for me, Kev, if there was going to be like a last minute, bring someone in? Do you have a name? Bueller?
No, I don't.
No.
Who's that? Ferris Bueller?
Yeah.
No. No, I don't, to be honest, because I just think I'd like a surprise. I really would like a surprise.
I'd like a surprise. I'd like the kind of surprise I would like, Kev, is what Crosh Jonky is saying. What a great screen name. Where's that gone? Crosh Jonky. Need a Saka competition. That was very uncharacteristic of Saka against Fulham. Ooh, that was nasty. What was that about?
What's that? When he headed it into the ground.
The pass. The pass. It was so not like him.
I mean, the header. The one where he's come in first half, just headed it into the floor. Again, if we're not taking our chances, Soph.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We're going to struggle.
Do you think Arteta is really feeling the pressure already? No. I mean, he's always going to be feeling pressure, right? But not
pressure, Soph. But the fact of the matter is, you prepare the team shoot themselves in the foot, go a goal down. You come back, you're winning, and they've got 10 men. You expect to see it out, Soph.
It was so poor that we didn't.
That's why it felt like a loss. Because
it really did.
We come back from nowhere, got our noses in front, and then conceded another silly goal from a set piece.
I thought, like, mentally, Kev, I felt like we were evolving. You go from missing out on the Champions League to then going and challenging for the league, and then you're ahead of the game, and then you kind of revert back into that, that Achilles heel, that mental impotence a little bit.
It's just that soft mentality, Soph.
They haven't overcome it, have they, Kev?
No,
they haven't.
It's that soft mentality. And you mentioned Jack Grealish before, 100 million on the bench, but he's coming into the Champions. They have got it in abundance. They know week in, week out, that ball comes in the box. Both ends of the pitch, they're there. They've got that toughness, that nastiness. Play lovely football, but you watch balls come into Man City's box. Man City's head on it. They're sticking their nut on it. They're being physical. We've got to understand. We've got to be two things on the pitch. When we've got the ball, we've got to be smart, creative, intelligent, move the ball very quickly. But when we haven't got the ball, we've got to be nasty.
Really nasty. I want some nastiness. I want some J.R. Ewing, Dallas nastiness, Super Kev.
Big time. That's my man.
Yes.
J.R. is my man.
Get that bourbon out of that cowboy hat. No messing around. Take no prisoners. J.R. Ewing style.
J.R. Ewing.
Yeah. Arteta's a bit J.R. Ewing.
Ruthless.
Definitely not Bobby Ewing.
That's what's probably doing his nut in Soph. Because a man like him leaves no stone unturned. Yet, you get your noses in front and you give it away. This is not right, Soph.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. We've talked, mental's always been, we said on this show, the only way we're going to lose the Premier League is if we capitulate mentally, because we got the talent to do it. We got the players. We had the momentum, but mentally we're just not there at all. We like Jonathan David. We'll take him. Not so bad. Mr. Kyle Campbell, just turning up as we're talking about, Jack Grealish. Funny that, isn't it? Super Kyle, we will be seeing you soon. Super Kyle's got a new super schedule, training hard, but he will be back. He'll be back next Friday, methinks. Got that to look forward to.
Kyle, did you have a game today? I think he had a game today.
Oh, let us know, Kyle. I'd go for Tony. I'd make that deal right now and know that Tony's coming in January. Who cares? If everyone's betting, if everyone's buying Saudi, if everyone's, using wind tunnels, if everyone's just doing whatever, fine, I'll take Ivan Tony now. I would take him. All of my morals are going out the window with this world we're living in.
Do the deal in Jan. Don't buy him now. You do the deal in Jan.
Get it done now, Kev. Get a little, bargain price. Right. Let's see. Did you have a game, Kyle? We have not seen that answer. Chief Like Officer Tammy, tell us how many likes we do have. Who shot JR? We all know. Come on. You know who shot JR. Kristen.
Do you know what? I'm gonna definitely watch Dallas again.
In it.
I love
Kev.
it, you know. I love Dallas.
What a show Dallas
Outfits
was.
as well. I love it.
I still remember the pilot episode where Pam Ewing was driving in the sports Mercedes, that red sports, down South Fork, and she was going to meet the family for the first time. I'll never forget when I went to Dallas, first thing I wanted to do, Kev, what'd I say? Take me to South Fork Ranch.
Take me to South Fork Ranch.
Take me to South Fork Ranch.
Oh, man.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Right. I think we'll close the show there, and Super Kev will take you out. Now, let's see. They got beat, Kev. Got beat today.
Oh, never mind, son. Never mind. Never mind.
Chin up.
Keep grinding.
We got
Getting
this.
better.
Yeah. I got my coaching skills on, Kyle. You got this. It's going to be a great season. Just keep going. Just like the Arsenal. Bit of a blip. Overcome that. Just like the Gunners. Super Kev, why don't you take us out? I am flying to Cyprus tomorrow, and I'm really excited to go see my mum and dad. And I will be working from the Island of Love for the next few weeks. So look out for news on shows. My dad's internet is actually worse than Super Kev's, so won't be doing shows from there.
Hey,
Super
my
Kev,
internet's been pretty good. I'll tell you
yes,
that.
yes.
McDonald's
sure-
has paid the bill.
If I'm sweating now here, I'll be sweating. Woo, it's hot in Cyprus right now. Really hot in Cyprus. All right, Super Kev, over to you. And Super Kyle, I'll be in touch.
Anyway, nice. Thanks, Kyle, for turning up, son. Gooners, your opinions are your own, but keep supporting the boys because the boys need you. And yeah, we do need to get a little bit nasty. We do need to get tougher defensively because never mind the system. That's what's costing us, guys. It's our defending, not the system. It's the defending. But anyway, tell your loved ones you love them. Tell this young lady here, safe travels. Put an X in the box that she has a safe travel to see her mum and dad in the beautiful island of love of Cyprus. And you know what, squaddies? We love you. Take care, and we'll see you very soon. From International, the Highbury Squad. Look after yourself. Take care. And at ease, squaddies. At ease.
That was my tummy rumbling, by the way. So hungry. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.